Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's twice in as many days. This must be some kind of fucking record here. We are back though with another stream. It's only going to be another short one, and if I can get my phone to work, I'll be able to see if the audio is working. But, is it working? We're good. Alright, so, ladies and gentlemen, anyone watching, this is going to be my official Premier League table predictions. Now, what I've been doing over the past few days is kind of toying with where I'm going to put teams, not entirely sure where they were going to go. That's why I've left it till literally the final day I can before the Premier League starts, which is tonight, where the mighty Manchester United take on Fulham. But we have got the table. There is a bit, I wouldn't say controversy. I'd say there's a few bold predictions. Um, but in terms of controversy, I'm not saying that it's going to be bad. I do need to check something first. Just double checking something before we start this. Because I don't know 100%. I think I'm gonna stick with what I've got. I was half thinking of not doing, but I think I'm gonna stick with what I've got here, and we're gonna go for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the 2024-2025 Premier League predictions. Without any further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna do it in alphabetical order, and not only that, we are also gonna be putting out the table in the description. So if you don't kind of keep up with it, if you don't kind of keep up with what I'm saying, if I'm making it too long-winded, or if I'm kind of just rambling on and you lose track of where I've put teams, that's understandable. The full table is going to be in the description of the video if you want exact predictions. I was going to do a spreadsheet, but I can't really be bothered. So we'll just do a little table in the description. I'll come back to this in 9-10 months and cry when I get all of them wrong. So just before we start, I know I'm rambling a bit. Last year, I don't think I ever did a reactions video. Maybe I did. Did I? I don't remember. But we got 5 out of 20. We got a quarter of them right. I think it was Man City. Who was it that I got right? Bear with me. Again, organisation is top tier here. So who do we get? We got Man City, obviously. I think I got Chelsea, but by complete accident. Got Brighton, got Luton, and got Sheffield United. Um, those were the 5. But Chelsea was a complete. I don't know how I got Chelsea because they weren't looking like they were going to do it until like the last day of the season, and then they thought, or not last day, last month of the season, they thought, oh, we're just going to win streak and get him that 6th place. So fair play, Chelsea. Didn't really knock us out of Europe, but we managed to recover it. So, AFC Bournemouth. This club was founded in 1899 when Boscombe St John's Institute Football Club disbanded, and the remains of that club formed Boscombe FC. They currently compete in Premier League, the highest tier in Football League system of England. In 2009, AFC Bournemouth avoided relegation from the Football League on the final day of the season. The club were promoted to the Premier League 6 years later and competed in England's top tier for the first time in their history. And they've been there pretty much ever since. I think they had one relegation, if I remember correctly, within that time, but they are here and they are here to stay, it looks like. So, for Bournemouth, it was a tricky one because obviously they've had the departure of Dominic Solanke, who is obviously their main man up top. He got, I think it was 19 league goals last year in the end, fired them to a very good finish at the end of the season. Kept them well clear of relegation, which I think I put they were going to go down, or they would be in the mix for going down. This year, I know they've lost Solanke, but I've still gone quite bold with them because the replacements have been quite good. I haven't got them all on hand. This is probably what I should have done this beforehand. Had all the transfer news up and ready to go. So if there's pauses in the video, it's because I'm looking at transfer news. So with Bournemouth, of course, they sold Dominic Solanke to Tottenham Hotspur for about 65 million, something like that. It's absolutely mental. Um, but what I do know is they've replaced him, not completely. I don't know if it's going to get 19 goals back, but they do have Unal on a permanent now. They've also brought in Evan Nielsen, or they're going to be bringing in Evan Nielsen. I don't think he'll be ready for this weekend, but he is proven in Portugal, and he is a talent. So they do have the options to replace Solanke. They've also brought in Sinistera from Leeds, Howson from Juventus, Araujo from Barcelona. No, not that one. He's the right back that plays for them. And they've also got Jebison as well from Sheffield United. I've not seen much of him, but he's young. He could prove himself to be a handy customer in the Premier League. So for that reason, I put Bournemouth in 11th. I think they'll have a comfortable mid-table finish. I think the new signings will gel together and they'll get more than enough points to avoid the drop quite comfortably. I don't think they'll quite reach top half or any European status. But I think that is fair enough, and I think that is understandable that I put them there. So yeah, Bournemouth 11th place. Up next, Arsenal. The club was founded in 1886 when a group of workers from the Woolwich Arsenal armament factory formed a football team called Dial Square. They have been crowned champions 13 times and won a domestic cup on 14 occasions. Nicknamed the Invincibles, the Arsenal squad of 2003-2004 completed an unbeaten league season with 26 wins, 12 draws and 0 losses. The club reached the UEFA Champions League final in 2006, keeping a competition record of 10 successive clean sheets along the way. Now Arsenal, this was a very, very difficult choice to pick because obviously I think there's only going to be two teams in the title race, and we know one is right here. We'll go to the other one obviously in a little while. Manchester United, but we will go to the other one in a while. Arsenal, they've got a hell of a defensive unit. They've got an incredible back four, and they've only strengthened that obviously with signing Calafiori following a very good Euros from the Italian centre back. He could also play left back, I believe, as well. And then they've got David Raya on a permanent. That's like a signing in itself, but also he was there last year. Won the Golden Glove in the end. So Arsenal are, they've had minimal incomings, but they've also had minimal outgoings. The only one I can really see that would actually affect him in any particular way, and even then it might not affect him too much, obviously Emile Smith-Rowe moving to Fulham. I don't think they've done too much in the window, but they've not needed to fully. What they do need now, they need another attacking midfielder in case Odegaard gets injured, or just a midfielder in general in case Declan Rice gets injured. They don't have much backup for those positions now. But luckily last season Arsenal didn't have trouble with injuries too much to the extent other clubs did, like Manchester United, like Newcastle United, like Chelsea. It's going to be, hopefully, another season of avoiding injury. And I think, and it was difficult to do this, I don't think they're going to win the league. And I think they're going to fall just short again. I'd like to be proven wrong, because God knows we don't want the blue side of Manchester to win the league again. Arsenal are just going to be behind, but I think they're going to win a domestic competition. I think they could win a domestic competition this season. The squad is phenomenal. Like I said, if they get Marino in, that's the midfielder sorted. He can play along that midfield line anywhere. They just need a striker. Jesus, it had a decent preseason, but doesn't have the 20-goal season that Arsenal need from a striker. So second place is where I have put the mighty Arsenal. And by mighty, I don't think they're mighty. It's kind of obviously all the Arsenal fans. So, as we go, that's the wrong league. Why has it gone to the Championship? Up next, Aston Villa. This is another tricky one because Villa, quite good, obviously. They managed to secure top four last season. Members from the Villa Cross Wesleyan Chapel cricket team met under a gaslight to form Aston Villa in 1874. They have been crowned champions 7 times, have won the domestic cup on 7 occasions. Aston Villa became the second team ever to win the double when they won the first division in the FA Cup in 1897. They won the UEFA Champions League in 1982 after defeating Bayern in the final, played in Rotterdam. And honestly, I forgot that they won the Champions League, and it is quite forgettable, over 40 years ago now. But Aston Villa are back in the Champions League, and they've not wasted that money at all. They've splashed the cash here this season. They have brought in a wealth of players. They've brought in Amadou Onana. They brought in Ian Matson, Cameron Archer, Jaden Philogene, Samuel Illing Jr., Lewis Dobbin, Enzo Barrenechea, and Ross Barkley, all coming in to fill out the team. But they've also had their fair share of departures as well. The biggest ones being Moussa Diaby, he's gone to Saudi, and Douglas Luiz has gone to Juventus. But they've replaced like for like, bringing in Amadou Onana. They don't have that big winger that Diaby did underwhelm, I'll admit, last season, but they don't have his replacement really. They've signed a couple of wingers, Philogene, Illing Jr., Dobbin as well. They have the potential, but they're not there yet, and I don't think they've replaced like for like there. And with Aston Villa, they do have the depth, but with them being in the Champions League, what I've learned is from Newcastle and sometimes even from Manchester United, once a team's in the Champions League, they will tend to fall off a little bit in the league. And I didn't really know where to put Villa because the top 7, top 8 is closer than ever. And it was difficult to actually judge where Aston Villa will land in this kind of, this kind of atmosphere, this kind of, I don't know, I know the word I'm trying to think of, but I don't know exactly what it is. Like this whole just mix at the top. There is now 8 teams figuratively that could get into top 4, and Aston Villa are now obviously definitely one of them. They've strengthened again. They've replaced what they need to replace. Again, I still think they need another top tier winger, but Diaby didn't really impress, and they've kept most of their squad. Ollie Watkins has stuck around. Emi Martinez, incredible goalkeeper, World Cup winning goalkeeper. They've got good centre backs in Torres, and I forgot who the other one is, but they do have Pau Torres. My mind has just gone blank at the moment, but they've got strength all around the pitch. But I think the Champions League will take a toll on them a little bit. They might get out of their group. I think in terms of the actual travel, I say they get out of the group. It's the new format. I don't even fucking know how the new format works. But with all the travelling within the Champions League, Aston Villa will drop a few places, and I've put them 7th. And that's not in any way a bad comment for Aston Villa. It's just the 6 teams above them look pretty good. And spoilers, I have put Manchester United in that top 6. Aston Villa 7th place, I think is fair enough, and I think Aston Villa fans would take that, especially as they're in the Champions League this season. So for Brentford, then, I can't remember where I put them, and now my phone decided to crash. You know what? Technology. Always rely on technology for your shit, I suppose. So Brentford, I have put them right. I've seen where I've put them now. So Brentford Football Club was formed in October 1889 by a group of local sportsmen when a new recreation ground was to open in the area. They currently compete in the Premier League, the highest tier in the Football League system of England. While enjoying a successful period, Brentford became London's first professional football club to be owned by its supporters in January 2006. So Brentford still in the Premier League, and it's a tricky one to place Brentford, but I have placed them. And I'm going to be straight up transparent. My placement of them fully relies on Ivan Toney. Now, I'm not saying Brentford are a one-man team. They've got talent on the wings. They've got talent at the back. But for goals, you look to your Ivan Toney kind of guy, your big striker who's going to get double figures. If he goes, and I'm not sure that he will now, Brentford will probably change for me. But as it stands, I've got them in 13th. I think that they're going to be the mid-table side. I don't think they're going to be near relegation because Tony's goals will fire them out. They've got a strong defence. Their goalkeeper, I mean, I forgot who have they got? I don't even know who they got in goal now because I forgot David Raya went to Arsenal. So the goalkeeper position is up for grabs. I'm pretty sure they have got somebody, but my name escapes me right now. The name escapes me right now. I can't think. Regardless, I think that they will be fine. They've brought in Igor Thiago from Club Brugge, but he's injured for a little while still, so they'll have to find options until then. They've also brought in Fabio Carvalho from Liverpool, where obviously at Brentford he'll get more game time, he'll get more of a chance to prove himself. And I think the creation there will be good, especially if you do keep your Ivan Toney. And there's going to be a lot of link up there, I reckon. I do think that Brentford, if they lose Tony, I don't think they go down. I think they still stay up. I'll probably drop them a couple of places. But as it stands for Brentford, I'm putting them 13th. And again, that kind of hinges on Ivan Toney. But we shall see. So up next then on the list, Brighton and Hove Albion. The club was founded in 1901 at a public house on Ship Street in Brighton. They currently compete in the Premier League, the highest tier in the Football League system of England. Brighton was Sussex's only representatives in the Football League until 2011 when Crawley were promoted to League Two. Now Brighton's another tricky one because they've splashed the cash on young talent again this year, and they haven't actually really had too many exits, have they? The main one in terms of money being Dennis Undav. He's gone to Stuttgart on a permanent, but he never really materialised at Brighton. The main one in terms of importance to the team is Pascal Gross. He has gone to Borussia Dortmund for just 7 million euros. They do euros on the transfer market website, so that's why I'm kind of referencing euros. They have spent, though, Yakuba Mente from Newcastle, Mats Vijver from Feyenoord, Brian Gruda from Mainz, Ibrahim Osman from Nordsjælland, who I believe is going back out on loan, but I could be incorrect on that information. And then Malik Junior Yalkoye, who I've never heard of, he's come from Sweden to join Brighton. This is what I mean. They find talents out of nowhere. And then Kozier Dubry from Arsenal as well, signing on a free. So, the thing is, there's plenty of talent coming in. But, and this is no way a dig at the manager. I'm not trying to, have bad words about the manager or anything like that. There is a new manager in, and he's not particularly proven. I think he was part of the coaching setup. I don't know if he was the official manager, but he was the coaching setup in Germany, and he got a team promoted, I think, to the Bundesliga. St. Pauli, I think it was. He's not proven, and Brighton had taken a huge gamble on a manager, but they took a bit of a gamble on De Zerbi as well, and he did alright with them. I got them correct last year in 11th, and that is where they finished. And the whole reason that I'm dropping them a place, for reference, I will be putting Brighton 12th. Every other team just seems to look better, and it's nothing against Brighton because they have brought in young talent, but they haven't brought in proven talent, in my opinion. Obviously, Vijver, proven at Feyenoord, fantastic little player. I honestly haven't heard enough of Gruda to judge, and Yankuba Minte, again, we've not seen enough of him yet either. It's really going to be a risky season for Brighton, and I don't think they're going to struggle by any means. I just think there's going to be a slight drop-off. What with the coach coming in, I don't know how he's going to do, as he's not proven. And with the young players coming through, they will come through soon, just not yet, I don't think. I think it'll probably take a season for everyone to adjust, everyone to get together, gel, and these young players to show what they're really about. And I think with that, and because of the other teams strengthening so much above them, I think Brighton will finish 12th. It's not by any means an indictment of Brighton, but a couple of years ago they were in Europe, and they will work towards that European goal again. It's just going to take a year or two, I think, and it's not going to be this year, unfortunately, for Brighton. I was really considering putting them above Bournemouth, putting them 11th again, but Bournemouth with Evan Nielsen, it won't be over. Evan Nielsen is proven, and he will fire Bournemouth, I think, just above Brighton. And I've put Brighton 12th place. Now, up next, the Blue £1 billion bottle jobs. It is, of course, Chelsea Football Club. Now, what do you say about Chelsea? They are signing everyone under the sun with minimal departures. Before we get to all that, though, Chelsea FC was formed in 1905 in a public house located on Fulham Road in SW6. They've been crowned champions 6 times and won the domestic cup on 8 occasions. Chelsea went on a remarkable unbeaten home run in the English top flight, 86 games between 2004 and 2008. The club became the first UEFA Champions League holders to win the UEFA Europa League in the following year in 2013. So back-to-back European trophies, that means. Chelsea. They've got more money than sense. And once again have splashed the cash this season. It's it's ridiculous, if I'm being honest with you. It's absolutely ridiculous how they managed to get away with signing so many players. And the thing is, most of the time, you would think, well, not maybe most of the time, but in a thing like career mode, you think signing a lot of players would work because they could just slot in, you can use as many as you want, nobody will get tired, and you'll win everything. That's what the Chelsea mindset seems to be, but in real life, it doesn't quite go like that. You want players playing as many as you can. The thing is, and I read this the other day, 43 players in that Chelsea squad. That's nearly four full 11s. There's going to be so much discontent because you don't know who you're going to start, who you're going to bench, who's going to be involved. And when you're throwing at a manager who, with Enzo Maresca, fair play to him, I kept referring to him as a player in my Hartlepool career mode last year because I'm dumb. But he guided Leicester, albeit shakily towards the end, guided Leicester to a quite comfortable championship promotion. Now, can he do that with Chelsea? Obviously not because they're not in the championship, but can he steady a ship at Chelsea and direct them towards those Champions League spots? For me, it's a no. It's a not a chance. There's just too many players, and with the amount of starting spots available as well as players had, I think it's all going to fall apart again. Because when you look at the signings here, you've got Pedro Neto, who they didn't even need. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, who I do rate as a signing, Philip Jorgensen, Omari Kellerman, Aaron Anselmino, who I think is going to go back out on loan, Renato Vega, who I believe is going out on loan as well, Caleb Wiley from Atlanta, sorry, in America, and then Mark Guiu as well as Tosin Adarabioyo. It's a lengthy fucking list of players that are coming in. They do have a couple of departures. Ian Matson off to Aston Villa, Lewis Hall to Newcastle on that permanent deal, Amari Hutchinson joining New Boys Ipswich, Diogo Moreira going to Strasbourg, and then plenty of free transfers and loan transfers as well, with Ziyech, Sarr, and Thiago Silva all going for free, and then Gilchrist, Wiley, Slonina, Anselmino, and Eddie Beach all gone out on loan. There is still way too many players at Chelsea, and I put them. I don't think it's going to gel all together this season. I've not put them in a punishing position as I've seen other people put them in, actually. I feel like I've been fair to them, but I have put them 8th. It's the same position Manchester United had last year. Again, they could be in the running for a domestic trophy, but I just think there is a lot of quality there, but I think there's just too many players, too many egos, and dare I say it, too much quality that you don't know who you're going to be using week in, week out. There's going to be so many team swaps, team changes that nobody will get enough experience with each other to gel together as a team, and I think it'll all fall down. Not to the extent that other people think it might, but they'll get us definitely a top half finish with an 8th place finish. I think is fair, as well as potentially a Conference League title and becoming the first team to win all 3 European competitions. I don't think I've done Chelsea too badly, but at the same time, there's just too much going on at that club that you can't really pinpoint what they should be doing. Up next then, there's a club here that look like they're on the up. Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace turned professional in 1905 and began in the second division after their application to join the Football League was rejected. The club first reached England's top flight in 1969. They currently compete in the Premier League, the highest tier in the Football League system of England. Crystal Palace took its name from the glass palace in which the club was formed. The palace is also represented as part of their crest. So, with Crystal Palace, it's a difficult one again because they ended the season the best team in form last year with some brilliant displays and a dominant 5-0 win over Aston Villa, despite Villa obviously. I think that Villa hadn't really tried because they'd already secured top 4, but it's still a huge win over now a Champions League club. In terms of business, it's been quite quiet on the Crystal Palace front. To replace Elise, they've brought in Ismaila Sarr from Marseille. They've also brought in Chadi Riyad from Real Betis as a centre-back option. I'm presuming that might be because of the possible impending departure of Guehi. This time next week, he might be at Newcastle, perhaps. Probably end up being at Chelsea. No, all seriousness, but Gahey could be leaving. Daichi Kamada on a free from Lazio at just 27, with the quality he brings, is a brilliant signing as well. He can cover Elise's kind of attacking mid role, as well as Malisar covering if Elise was to go on the wing. They've still kept Eberechi Eze. They've still kept Jean-Philippe Mateta. That attack, besides Elise, still looks dangerous as well. But also, when you think about it, it's just, can they replace Elise? Because obviously they have done in terms of names, but will they bring the same impact to the squad? I think they could, but with Elise going, it's gonna be a big hit, despite the signings they brought in. My brain is trying to keep up with itself here. It's not going very well. And I do rate that they've done minimal business, minimal departures, minimal incomings. But with Gahey potentially leaving, that might change my prediction for Palace. At current time of recording, I have them in a top half finish. I've got them 10th place. I think with Oliver Glasner and the ending of last season, I don't think they'll continue that into the new season immediately. But they will show bursts of form where they will get a couple of wins in a row, an unbeaten streak here and there, maybe 6 or 7 games against lower teams in the league. I think they will finish a comfortable 10th. I think they will finish, for the first time since they got re-promoted, in a points total in the 50s, because every single season without fail since their promotion back to the Premier League, which nearly a decade ago now, or maybe even a decade ago, Crystal Palace have ended in the 40s. I think they have the quality, and I think they have the potential and the manager as well to steer them in that direction to get over 50 points. So 10th place, Crystal Palace, I think is fair enough. Again, with Gahey potentially leaving, they might drop a little bit, but if he stays around, and it might look like he's staying around now, because I don't think they just... every time Newcastle put a bid in, from what I've seen, they keep raising the price. They keep playing hardball in Newcastle. And either Newcastle leave it, Gahey stays, or Newcastle will just break the bank and Gahey goes. It really depends on that in terms of defensive ability. Up next, then, is a team that, again, could be in line for some points deductions, potentially, which is kind of why I've placed them where I've placed them. But before we do that, the club was originally formed as St. Domingos FC in 1878, playing their first game in Stanley Park a year later and changing their name to Everton Football Club. They've been crowned champions on 9 occasions and have won the Domestic Cup on 5 occasions. Everton's club crest features Prince Rupert's Tower, which can be found in the heart of the Everton district in Liverpool. The club won their first European trophy in 1985, winning the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup against Rapid Vienna. So Everton, I'm not doing this in a bad way, because they have strengthened quite well. Jake O'Brien coming in from Lyon, Iliman and Diaye coming in from Marseille did quite well last year, and then of course Eric Bunam from Aston Villa, who is a young midfielder looking to find a place to prove himself. And they've also brought in Jesper Lindstrom on loan, which is huge, from Napoli, and I don't hate that at all. But again, it's part of me is thinking that they're gonna get hit with a points deduction again. There's been rumours of it, and goodness knows what it'll be. And it's really tricky to pinpoint Everton's finishing position, as well as in terms of departures. The biggest one, Amadou Onana. They've spent the money they got from him, but it was a big fee and a big loss to the midfield. They've also sold Ben Godfrey, who I don't think was getting minutes anyway, and Lewis Dobbin off to Aston Villa as well. Ben Godfrey going to Atalanta. But the thing is, with Everton, with a possible points deduction looming over their head again, it's going to be a struggle this season. But it's good news in terms of the relegation battle, because I will predict Everton to stay up. The fact that you've got survival specialist Sean Dyche is a big, big coup. And he's been there now a little while, survived with them last year. Can he do it again? I think yes. It's not going to be as comfortable as last season. And I'm kind of basing this on the points deduction. If there's no points deduction that comes through, they'll probably finish a few places higher than what I've got them here. but I've got them 17th. They are literally just surviving. But I think with the relegation zone, it's going to be a big gap. It's about 6 or 7 points. I think Everton are about 6 or 7 points clear, despite being in 17th. But I do think the points deduction will hit and hurt a little bit. And if there is one, that is, I think it's going to just be survival once again. They will stay up, but yeah, they've been honestly playing with the relegation battle for a while, and I think they'll survive it again. But it's just going to get more and more difficult. Up next, then, Fulham on the list. It is a club that seems to just be settling in mid-table now, and that's fair play to them. The club was founded when a school teacher and church warden formed a team for local boys at Fulham St Andrew's Church in 1879. They currently compete in the Premier League, the highest tier in the Football League system of England. After a 33-year absence, Fulham reached the top flight again in 2001, and in 2010 they enjoyed a surprising campaign as they reached the UEFA Europa League final, where they finished runners-up to Atletico Madrid. What a season that was. I was still a young boy then, and it was incredible to watch Fulham go to the Europa League final, but they're not there again anymore. I don't think, unfortunately. They have brought in some very smart deals here. Emile Smith-Rowe coming in from Arsenal, who obviously he wasn't getting as much play time. He's still at 24, can re-find his form and himself at Fulham. Jorge Cuenca as well as a centre-back option, probably the Toshin replacement. He is proven at Villarreal, and for a minimal price, he might slot into that back line tonight. We don't know. Of course, Ryan Sessegnon from a free from Spurs as well. Injury hit spell at Spurs. If he can stay fit, on his day, he's a very good left back, and Fulham will look to recapture that form from him. I think he was at Fulham before. He has now returned to the club, if I'm not mistaken. But here is the kicker with Fulham. They've lost a couple of big names. Tosin Adarabioyo left on a free transfer to rivals Chelsea. I can't believe they get money for him. He didn't want to sign a new contract, so he moved on. But that's not even the biggest departure. The biggest departure, it was rumoured last year. It's gone through this year. It's João Palhinha. When you take a player like João Palhinha out of Fulham, they're gonna struggle and falter a little bit, because again they haven't really replaced him, and that's the area you need to replace. When you've got a player that good, it's going to be hard to replace him. You're not going to exactly replace him like for like, because he's just that good, but you need to put a man in there who knows what he's doing and can cover that position. We've also got Decordova-Reid leaving to Leicester, Rodak going to Saudi, Tim Ream going to the MLS as well. And it's just, the thing is, I want to predict Fulham not to struggle, but with the big departures, they do have Smith-Rowe in. With the big departures, they will survive. It just seems hard to put them as high as last year. I've put them, and this might irk some Fulham fans a bit, but you can kind of see why with the reasons I've explained between Palhinha leaving and Tosin leaving. I've put Fulham 15th. I think that's a respectable finish. I think it's a good finish, but it's just the hole that you're leaving in the midfield. And if Cuenca doesn't live up to, obviously, Tosin's level, which I think he does, he probably will do, it's just going to be a tricky season for that Palhinha-sized hole in the midfield. And I hope we beat you tonight. Up next is the new boys, the Tractor Boys, back-to-back promotions themselves, Ipswich Town Football Club, and they haven't messed about coming into the Premier League. Founded in 1878, Ipswich Town is based in Ipswich. Shocker. They have been crowned champions one time and won the Domestic Cup once as well. Ipswich Town are the only professional club based in the county of Suffolk. I was going to say country then. And they enjoyed European success when they lifted the UEFA Cup in 1981. And of course now they're in the Premier League. Excuse me, can we fucking not? Thank you. I'm getting adverts on my phone. So for Ipswich, they haven't messed about in terms of business. Omari Hutchinson coming in on a permanent is huge. especially with the impact he had in the Championship. If he can have that same impact in the Premier League, Ipswich should be fine. Jacob Greaves coming in from Hull City, a proven centre-back at Championship level. Can he do it in the Premier League? Who knows? Liam Delap coming in, proven at the under-21s of Manchester City, a young striker hungry for an opportunity. Sami Smodic, the Golden Boot winner in the Championship last year for Blackburn, he has just arrived, as well as Arijanet Muric. I've probably pronounced that wrong. Sorry, Muric. I'm not too sorry because you're former Man City, but he's coming from Burnley for about 10 million euros. So, Ipswich Town. That isn't all their business, by the way. They brought in Connor Townsend from West Brom as an experienced left back. Ben Johnson on a free from West Ham, only 24 years of age, and a risky one as they've loaned in Calvin Phillips. Now, if all these players could click, if all these players could play at this level, Ipswich might make a great escape. Ipswich might be the one to break the trend, because last year 3 teams came up, 3 teams went down. This year, 3 teams come up, and spoiler, I maybe put 1 or 2 to go back down. Ipswich, I am on the Kieran McKenna hype train. I'll be straight up honest. I'm on the Kieran McKenna hype train. They've had minimal departures, and the departures they have had probably wouldn't fit in the Premier League anyway. They've strengthened with the promotion money very, very well. I've got them to stay up. And this is going to be bold on, because there's a lot of people having them go straight back down. And Ipswich, if they hadn't made the business, they had. And if I didn't believe in the fucking manager because he's a former Man United staff member, I'll probably put him down as well. But with other mitigating circumstances surrounding the other clubs that I have put below them, I reckon Ipswich survive. And I have not just put them 17th because you know I've put 17th. I've put Ipswich 16th place. I am fully on board this train, this hype train. The signings have been good. One of them was very good in the Championship last year, Omari Hutchinson for Ipswich. And 2 of them were not, playing for Ipswich, but were still class in the Championship. Jacob Greaves, incredible year for Hull, as they almost got playoffs. And then, or maybe did they get playoffs? They didn't win them, obviously, because we know who won them, and we'll get to them in a bit. But I can't remember if they actually got in the playoffs, but a phenomenal season from Greaves. And then Sami Smodic, Golden Boot winner, and he's already scored a few this season as well for Blackburn before making the move. So, Ipswich, I'm on the hype train. Stay up. I believe in you. Up next, then, another promoted side, and this was a difficult one because we all know, I don't remember the exact number, but we all know they're getting hit with a points deduction. But is this Leicester team able to overcome it? Before we get into that, Leicester City formed as Leicester Fosse in 1884 in a garden shed at a house on Fosse Road. They have been crowned champions once and have won the Domestic Cup on 1 occasion. Leicester City provided one of the biggest shocks in English football history when they won the Premier League in the 2015-2016 season. What a fucking season that was. But the problem with Leicester is they're not that team anymore, and they haven't got that many players from that season. In fact, I think they've only got Jamie Vardy from that season. There might be more, but my brain is escaping me right now. They've brought in Fatawu on a permanent. They brought in a Coley from Atalanta as well, a young centre-back. Michael Golding from Chelsea under 21s, as well as Decordova Reid. Buonanotte from Brighton on a loan. It's decent busyness. I don't know what to expect, because they've obviously got the departure of Dewsbury Hall. He's a very good player on his day. He's gone to Chelsea. Kelechi Iheanacho didn't really kick on in the Championship. I think they thought he would. He's gone to Sevilla. It's just difficult because I do like Leicester. I really do. But with the points deduction looming over, I think it's 10 points, but I could be incorrect on that information. And the fact that they haven't really strengthened as much as they need to for the Premier League. Granted, they shouldn't have gone down in the first place. Their team was strong enough to survive. But with the Premier League now changing levels, like changing kind of just quality, I guess, in the past 2 seasons, I don't see Leicester surviving. I think they go back down, and that's a huge call as well. Ipswich staying up, Leicester going down. I know it's a huge call, but you look at the transfer business. Ipswich have been active and about it in the transfer market, spending about 100 million euros nearly on quality players in each position. Leicester have spent about 35 to 40. They've brought in players who, granted, do have Premier League experience, but also some unknowns, and it is just difficult if you put that point deduction on top, it's difficult to see them survive. I've put them 18th, and it's going to be obviously. I can't say it's going to be close because I did say for Everton it's going to be a bit of a point gap, but it is going to be that points deduction that sends Leicester down. If they can avoid the points deduction, which I don't think they physically are able to, I'd even toy with having them stay up alongside Ipswich and Everton going down, but with both of them actually potentially getting points deductions, I think Everton will recover better from it. They've got more of the depth, they've got more quality, and I just sort of see Leicester in a situation where they survive this Premier League season. And I apologise, Foxes fans. I just don't. Up next is the worst team in the Premier League. Then it is Liverpool. Now it hurts to do this. I've got Liverpool in 20. I'm joking. In all seriousness, Liverpool FC was formed on 15th March 1892, but it was not until the 3rd of June that the year that the club was formally recognised by the Board of Trade. They've been crowned champions 19 times, way not 20, and have won the domestic cup on 8 occasions. Shit, that's more than us, I think. Then in their first professional season, Liverpool won the second division title and finished the campaign undefeated. Liverpool were crowned champions of England for the first time in 30 years when they lifted their first Premier League trophy in 2020. Now Liverpool, much as it pains me to say it, they're going to have a good season. They always have a good season. Even with 0 signings. Not a single signing from Liverpool Football Club. They've had a couple of departures, but again, not much there either. The main one, Fabio Carvalho, he's gone to Brentford. Adrian's gone to Real Betis, no big loss there. And Calvin Ramsey, who is a young right back, he's gone on loan, obviously, to, well, not obviously, but he has gone on loan to Wigan. He wouldn't get game time ahead of Trent at the moment. Liverpool have kept their squad more or less the same, but it's not going to be the squad that determines this season for the Reds. It is going to be the change in manager. As we know, Jurgen Klopp finished up with Liverpool last season, and he's going to take an extended break from football. But in comes Eredivisie winning manager for Feyenoord, Arne Slot. I don't know if it's Arne or Arne Slot. I'm going to call him Arne Slot. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. He comes in. He could probably get this squad playing because in pre-season Liverpool have been quite good, and I hate to admit it, but they've been quite good. They beat us through gritted teeth, but they did look very, very, just very good all around. They've still got the same depth. They've still got the same squad. The only issue I see with the squad itself is that it is aging. Mo Salah is aging. He's only in the early 30s, but that might catch up to them. But they do have a youthful midfield, and then the back line as well, aging a little bit. You've kind of got to try and, maybe not this season, because they probably don't have as much time now, but in the coming seasons, replace the experience with a bit of youth and a bit of quality, a bit of flair, and they might even challenge for a title again. But this season, they ain't challenging for it again. They ain't going to do it. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I'm very happy they're not going to challenge for it. But I do have, if Liverpool fans hate this, I apologise. I do have them in 3rd position. I don't think it's that bad. I've just closed my stream by accident. But I don't think it's that bad for Liverpool. They kept, like I said, kept the same squad. Arne Slot plays similar style of football to Jurgen Klopp, so it won't be much difference in terms of the football played. He plays very fun attacking football from what I saw of Feyenoord highlights. I haven't watched Feyenoord to watch them, but I saw highlights of their play last year. Very fun football to watch. He brings that to Liverpool. They get top 4 without too much issue again. And it pains me to put them above Man United, it really does. But 3rd place is where Liverpool are going to finish, in my honest opinion. Despite the lack of signings, they don't really need to make them this year. But I think kicking on, they need to think about it. They really need to think about it. Up next then. Why? What? That doesn't... Okay. I I got the Man City transfers up so I can keep up with what they've done. Not that it's much anyway. Thinking they'd be next. But it's not. It's Manchester United next, which is an intriguing one. I don't know how the alphabetical order works there, but fair enough, I suppose. Manchester United. Newton Heath LYR was formed in 1878 and was renamed Manchester United in 1902. They've been crowned champions 20 times, calm the fuck on, and have won the domestic cup on 12 occasions. Oh, we have won that more in Liverpool. In 1999, Manchester United managed to win a treble of trophies and became the first team in English football to achieve the feat. The UEFA Champions League final in 1999 saw the team produce one of the most stunning comebacks in sporting history, scoring the two decisive goals in injury time. Obviously, I was very, very, very young then, but looking back at it, what a moment. So taking a look at our business this year, we've actually done business which has helped the club. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking, but I love it. Lenny Yoro, obviously the marquee signing. Very risky, spend as much as we have on him. Obviously, in the last year of his contract at Lille, and now injured for a little while, unfortunately. But in those games in pre-season, I actually watched him for a change. He was immense. Lenny Yoro, I'm fully on the hype train. Looked very good against Rangers. I know it's only Rangers. And he looked very good against Arsenal as well before he got injured. It's just the injury. I don't know how much it'll set him back. I hope it doesn't set him back. And yeah, he's only 18. I don't think he'll set him back much. We've also brought in Matthias de Ligt, and I still can't believe that Matthias de Ligt plays for Manchester United. One of the most hyped up players, one of the most hyped defenders with good reason back in the day. Part of the Ajax team that went on that insane semi-final run, then moved to Juventus, then on to Bayern, and now he's calling the Theatre of Dreams home. Matthias de Ligt, obviously former Ajax. That's one of the main reasons he's probably been brought in by Erik ten Hag. We've got Joshua Zirkzee as well. That's a risk. I don't hate it because we do need another quality striker, and I believe he'll bring something to the team. I think we still start with Højlund when everyone's fully fit, obviously. Højlund injured at the moment as well. But Zirkzee, once he's got his fitness sorted, he will probably take the leading line until Højlund's return. He is a good player, but it is a bit of a risk. If it was up to me, probably would have been my choice of signing, but I don't hate it by any means. So Joshua Zirkzee is in. Noussair Mazraoui is in as well from Bayern. A little double deal there. He wasn't really getting the game time, and we do need a fullback. He can play in both sides on a fullback line as well, so if Shaw's injured for the 19th time this season, he'll play there. If Dalot gets hurt or anything, he'll play there. Of course, now we've got no Wan-Bissaka. We also have options coming through the under-21s. Toby Collier, Ethan Wheatley, Harry and Mass. Very good young players. And we've got Jadon Sancho back off his loan. Yet to see if we sell him. I hope we do, honestly. He just hasn't... It's not fully his fault, but he just hasn't cut it at United. Mason Greenwood, he's gone. Thank fuck for that. He's the biggest departure we've had. He's gone to Marseille, and long may he stay there. Aaron Wan-Bissaka off to West Ham. Willy Kambwala off to Villarreal. I don't like that, but he didn't want to stay, so you can't really complain. Alvaro Fernandez as well. Didn't want him to go either, but you can't really complain either. Donny van de Beek out of here, as well as Varane and Forsen. Martial, Williams, and Amrabat all exiting as well. Amrabat loan completed. Back to Fiorentina he goes. I still think for us, we do need another top quality midfielder in Ugarte. Well, we've been linked with Ugarte mainly. I would like João Neves as well, but he's now got PSG. We just need that midfielder. And I reckon we get top four. But, and I'm sorry, Manchester United fans, I've got to be realistic. As up until maybe about an hour ago, I was toying with who to put where in these two positions, and the other team, I've ultimately gone with the other team to get fourth place. I'm not going to say just yet. I've put us fifth. Now, that might be, oh, why have you put us fifth? Why have you put Manchester United fifth? We've done such good business this window. Look at the quality around us. We've strengthened, but so has everybody else. And with our injury record, we'll be lucky to get fifth, to be honest. If we could keep players fit, we get this full team flowing, and we get a midfielder in. I say we get fourth. But with our injury record, we've already got two, potentially three, on the list already. We could have more, and if we don't get an Ugarte, we don't get a midfielder, fifth would be lucky to get. But I reckon we do get it. Just outside those Champions League spots. I want to put us in there, I really do. But I can't use bias the whole time. I've got to be realistic. And with Manchester United, yeah, I think fifth place. It's an improvement on last year. Eighth place was last year's fucking finish. And I know we won the FA Cup to guarantee Europa League, but it still needs to be better league wise. Domestically, we could still win another trophy again. We have looked very good in preseason, like I said. Community Shield, even though we lost at penalties in the end, looked fucking good as well. We went toe-to-toe with Man City. While we were missing players, they were also missing players, so that's not going to be the full Manchester derby that you're going to see in the Premier League. But I am confident that we'll get higher than last year. I just think we'll miss out on Champions League by a very slim margin. Now up next, it is the four-time and current, well, four-time in a row, I think eight-time now total, and current champions, Manchester City. St Mark's Church formed a football club in 1880, which would later become Manchester City Football Club. They have been crowned champions 9 times and have won a domestic cup on 7 occasions. In the 2011-2012 season, Manchester City won the Premier League title with a thrilling 3-2 victory over QPR in injury time. The Aguero moment. Fucking bastard Aguero moment. Manchester City reached the UEFA Champions League semi-finals for the first time in their history in the 2015-2016 season. And then, of course, in the 2022-2023 season, they went all the way and bastard won it, didn't they? They won the treble. So fair play to them, I guess, at the end of the day. Although I can't say fair play to them. They've got 115 charges. Or was that fair play? Anyway, Manchester City. They haven't done much in terms of business. But, of course, they haven't needed to do much because they're Manchester City. Only one arrival coming in from Troyes in the French league. It is Savio, and I do rate Savio, but I've not seen much of him in pre-season. I have been watching kind of pre-season highlights of every team just to kind of look at them a little bit. I haven't seen much of him do much. I haven't seen him do much. I can't speak. Bruv, this is going to go over an hour, and I still can't speak. João Cancelo, Calvin Phillips, Jan Couto, Claudio Echeverri all coming back, as well as Maximo Perrone, but all of them, or most of them, going out again on a permanent or even on loan. They've gone somewhere. Speaking of departures, Julian Alvarez. How do you let him leave? I'm not a Man City fan, obviously, because I support Manchester United, but how do you let Julian Alvarez go? He was such a key part of that team last year. When Haaland was injured, Alvarez filled in, bagged goals. He is a very, very good, very intelligent player. Oh, and he's a World Cup winner. So I don't know how they managed to let him go, but it's a good fee, 75 million euros. I think that's around 60 million Great British pounds. He joined Atletico Madrid. They haven't replaced him, but I don't think that will matter. Taylor Harwood-Bellis off to Southampton, Sergio Gomez off to Real Sociedad, Tommy Doyle off to Wolves, Jan Couto will go to Borussia Dortmund on loan, probably sign there permanently, and then of course Calvin Phillips out to Ipswich on loan as well. The problem is with City is not only have they got a good squad, they've got strength in all areas. When you think of best defenders in the world, you think of Ruben Diaz. When you think of best midfielders in the world, you think of Rodri. When you think of best strikers in the world, you think of Haaland. Goalkeepers as well, you maybe think of Ederson, but I would say probably not Ederson. Honestly, I don't know who I'd say is the best goalkeeper right now. Probably Thibaut Courtois, but even then, he's kind of going down. Point is, when you think about Manchester City, you think about the quality they have everywhere. So, it's with a heavy heart and a very upset face that Manchester City are going to win it for the fifth time in a row, aren't they? It's a bit of a farmers' league at this point. It's a bit of a situation where you know who the winners are going to be. There are teams pushing closer and closer, and I think once Pep leaves, if he does decide to step down at the end of the season, if Pep Guardiola leaves, I think the changing of the guard will come in. I think teams like Arsenal, like Liverpool, hell, even Newcastle, Villa, possibly us, will all enter the title race a bit closer, and it will all kind of mesh in. I think once Pep leaves, the league opens up again, but for one last season, if it is his last season, he will take one more Premier League title with him. And I hate to say that because it's Manchester fucking City, but it's Manchester City. They're not going to fucking let it go lightly. Up next, then, and this was another difficult one because Newcastle United, as much as I hate them because they're now our rivals, I do quite like Newcastle. Which is very annoying. Can you stop giving me adverts? This fucking thing's already long enough. Take it up. Bear with me, guys. There we go. Thank you. I don't know why I put it. I don't know what fucking currency put the fucking transfer fees in here, but they have signed players, smart amounts of players for smart amounts of money. Lewis Hall's coming on a permanent. Odysseus Vlachodimos, I don't know if he starts. He will be a very good asset to Newcastle from Forest. William Asula from Sheffield United. Played quite a bit for him to say he's not that proven, but he's only young, so give him time. Lloyd Kelly as well on a free is very good business as well. At 25 years of age, he comes in from Bournemouth. He will definitely be involved in that defence somewhere. And the elephant in the room, Sandro Tonali returns to professional football. That's like a signing, the amount he got to play last year before he got his football ban. That's like a new signing coming in, and he is good, and we know it. Newcastle are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And honestly, and this is hurting me to say, I toyed with putting Newcastle above Man United as well. I have ultimately decided against it. Newcastle won't get top four this year. This is not a team I put in fourth place. I have decided against it. Newcastle United, by the way, were formed in 1892 when Newcastle East End absorbed rival club Newcastle West End. They've been crowned champions 4 times and won the domestic cup on 6 occasions. Newcastle United took part in the first ever Football League match and played under floodlights when they faced Portsmouth in 1956. So continue my Newcastle thoughts here. I don't think they're going to get top four. And that is purely because this team still need to gel together. Tonali still needs to fit back in. There's a lot of moving pieces. And I think the teams above them are just better. It was really difficult not to put Newcastle above Man United. And I'm still thinking maybe I should have done. But I'm not going to. And I'm probably going to end up being proven wrong. They've also had Elliot Anderson depart to Nottingham Forest, Yankuba Minte off to Brighton. Those are their only 2 departures of note. It's just, I think bias probably enters a little bit with Manchester United putting them 5th. That whole 4th, 5th, 6th scenario, Newcastle, Manchester United, and the other team who are yet to predict, who I have put in 4th in the end. It's just difficult to predict who's going to be 4th out of them. It's going to be a close battle between those 3 teams. And I think Newcastle lose out. But they have got quality everywhere. They've kept hold of Gimareus despite the release clause becoming active. And it's a really good Newcastle team. But there is a slight possibility, very, very slight, it's doubtful now, but a slight possibility that Alexander Isak could still leave. I doubt it, but you just don't know. I just think Newcastle will fall short. 6th place for them. Up next, then, Nottingham Forest. Now, this is a big call, and I'm looking at their business and regretting it slightly, a little bit, but it's too late now to go back. Nottingham Forest. They brought in a few players, but they've also had quite a few departures. It's hard to gauge them, and I've been a bit mean, truth be told. I've been a bit mean, and I'm probably going to regret this. I don't think I'm regretting where I put them, but in a minute we'll talk about that. Founded in 1865 by a group of Nottingham-based shinny players. Fuck knows what shinny is. On Shakespeare Street, the club played its first official football match 1 year later against Notts County. They've been crowned champions once and have won the domestic cup twice. Nottingham Forest secured the first division title in 1977-78, just 1 year after gaining promotion. The club surprised and delighted supporters by winning back-to-back European Cups in 1978-79 and 1979-80. I'm sorry, Nottingham Forest. I have put you in one of the three relegation spots. I haven't put you bottom, but you know you're not 18th because Leicester are there. I have put Nottingham Forest 19th place to go down. And looking back, I'm starting to regret it. But on the other hand, they brought in Elliot Anderson. He might not be, I mean, he's good, but he might not be fully ready. Nikola Milenkovic, proven at Fiorentina, might not cope with the pace of the Premier League. Jota Silva, Marco Stamanic, Carlos Miguel, and Erika da Silva Moreira complete their signings. But at departures, Musa Niakate, probably their best centre-back, he goes to Lyon. Vlachodimos, he's probably the best goalkeeper, he goes as well. Mangala, he's gone to Lyon. Freuler's gone as well, but he was aging anyway. And Scott McKenna goes in a free to Las Palmas. Now, there is a lot of, well, this is a lot of thought. There's some thought in this. I can't lie, there's some thought in this where I think, do you know how Leicester a couple of years ago got relegated? And it, no offence to Danny Ward, but it was a lot in part to their choice of goalkeeper. Nottingham Forest have not replaced Mr. Odysseus Vlachodimos. They've got Matt Turner, and I don't hate Matt Turner, but I don't rate Matt Turner. I think losing the Akate is vital at centre back. Milinkovic maybe fills that gap, but also they haven't replaced the goalkeeper. If they do, fair enough, they'll probably stay up. I'm just trying to justify this now because I do regret putting them in the relegation zone a little bit, but I still think they could go down. It is going to be Matt Turner. I think it's going to be the weak link, and that's why Forest will end up going down. I maybe should have swapped Nottingham Forest and Leicester looking back, but it's just I don't see Forest. They're going to be the relegation battle, no doubt. I just don't know which side of the line they're going to fall on. But I've put them 19th now, and it's too late to change it back. So I'm sorry, Nottingham Forest fans. I may be wrong, but I've got to stick to it now because I've written it down. Up next, then, doesn't get any better. This is the final team to go in the bottom three, and I feel bad for them, but not as bad because I just don't rate Southampton. If I'm being honest with you, I just don't rate them. They do have some very good players, and they've brought in a couple. Whoa, okay, hold on. They brought in quite a few signings here. I don't know how much they're all going to impact the team. They brought in Harwood Bellis, who's definitely going to be a very good centre back. Flynn Downs is an interesting one from West Ham. Bennett Brereton Diaz proved that he could score goals with Sheffield United. Proves he can do it in the Premier League to an extent. Will he be the striker they need to survive? Don't know. Yukinari Sugawara from Altmore, Nathan Wood from Swansea, Ronnie Edwards from Peterborough, and a few free transfers in. Charlie Taylor from Burnley, Adam Lallana from Brighton as well. And with players coming back off of loan who they haven't actually sold, I don't know if they will sell, but they haven't actually sold. Carlos Alcaraz, Armel Bella-Kotchap as well, Kayeta Carr. I may have underestimated Southampton, but again, I feel like the quality is just too much for Southampton to really fight with the rest of the teams. They've spent well, but there's still possible looming departures for some of these players that come back off loan. Carlos Alcaraz, will he stay at Southampton? I don't know. Bella Kotchap, not sure either. It really depends on the closing weeks of the window. They might stay up. They do have more quality than I thought they had, truth be told. As you can see here, or not as you can see here, but as I can see here, Caleta Carr has already gone back to Lyon on a permanent. Perrault's left to Betis. Che Adams has left, which honestly is probably an upgrade. And Lianco has gone to Serie A in Brazil. No, not the Italian one. I think that... don't hate Ben Brereton Diaz at all, but I don't think he'll get enough goals. I don't think Southampton will get enough goals as a whole to stay up. And for that reason, I apologise to Saints fans. I have put you to go straight back down, 20th place. But before we continue, I forgot to read the information. Founded the St Mary's Young Men's Association in 1885, the club joined the Southern League 9 years later when it was called Southampton St Mary's. The club has added one domestic cup to their trophy case. Southampton won back-to-back promotions to return to the Premier League in 2012 after a 7-season absence. But they've been up and down since, and I think that Southampton are going to go down. What's up, Jamie? Yo, bro. Newcastle's going to batter Southampton tomorrow. Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be an ugly match, that one. Up next, then, I don't want to say where I put these guys because I think you know where I've put these guys. If you've heard that where I put everybody else, Tottenham Hotspur, they're gonna finish top four. They are, and I hate to admit it, but they are. They've done very well this window. Minimal departures as well. There still might be more signings to come in. It's difficult to fucking gauge, but I don't think Spurs. Well, I think Spurs will have to be top four this season because Man United, obviously, I support them. They have made the good business, but they all need to gel together. Injuries will hit us as well. Newcastle, again, they're very good. No stress of European competition. They've got Tonali coming back. They've got players coming through. Injuries again, they'll hit Newcastle as well. So I think based off of that and based off the business they've done, which is quite good for the amount they've spent, Tottenham Hotspur, they take fourth spot. They've got a very good manager in Ange Postecoglou, and they've got a very good formation of a squad. And when you boost that with a signing of a man who scored 19 goals last season, Dominic Solanke, I don't see how Spurs don't get top four. They've also got Archie Gray, who is just 18 years old. He is the future. I hate to admit it because he came from Leeds, but he is very good. They've signed Odobert today from Burnley, who is only 19, still has potential, and Lucas Bergvall, who we know, but if you don't know, get to know Bergvall, who is very good. And they've also signed Bjorn Hyuk Yang as well. It's hard to predict them outside the top four, to be honest, because they've added a lot of quality. They've got rid of, I don't want to say dead wood, but they've got rid of players who they don't need anymore. Emerson Royale off to Milan, Joe Rodon off to Leeds, Eric Dyer, Ryan Sessegnon, Tanguy Ndombele, Ivan Perisic, Japhet Tanganga, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg as well, all going. Højbjerg, Gill, Valise and Scarlett all loan opportunities, but they've strengthened in the right places, and their defence is probably one of the best in the league, if not the best. They've got players like Romero, Van der Ven, and when you take them up, they've got Dragishin as well, who had an incredible Euros. Fullbacks, probably the best pairing in the league, Adogi and Porro. A very good midfield as well on their day when they're not inhaling laughing gas. And then they've got Kulusevski, who's a creator. Son, who is Son. And then they've got Solanke, who can find the back of the net quite easily. Fourth place for Spurs, as much as I hate to admit it. It really took all my fucking control not to put Spurs below United. And I think, in all honesty, Spurs will finish above United. And they will take that fourth spot. I'm very annoyed that I had to do that to myself, but you got to stick with the truth. How many teams have got left? Just the two. West Ham, then. West Ham, did I read the Spurs thing? I didn't read the Spurs thing. Tottenham Hotspur are formed by boys from Hotspur Cricket Club so they could play sport during the winter months. They've been crowned champions twice, have they? And they've won the domestic cup on 8 occasions. They've got trophies. Tottenham Hotspur became the first non-league team to win the FA Cup in 1901 following the formation of the Football League in 1888. The club also became the first English team to win a European competition after having won the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in 1963. West Ham, we're going to read their thing before I do the prediction because I'll forget otherwise. West Ham United were originally formed as Thames Ironworks FC in 1895. The club has added 3 domestic cups to their trophy case. West Ham United are known for being the academy of football due to their ability of producing young, talented players. The club has also enjoyed success on the European stage, having won the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in 1965. Now, West Ham United, they have done well this window, but what sways it for me And just for reference, I put them in the same place I think they finished last year. I think it was ninth they finished last year. Did I put them ninth again, or did I put them eighth? I put them ninth again. Um, they have brought in some very good players to help them this year. Max Kilman, the highest amount of money paid. He comes in as a Premier League proven centre back from Wolves, who we'll get onto in a minute. Crescencio Somerville, very good season for Leeds last year. He comes in. Nicholas Fulkrug, proven as well, Champions League finalist last year, comes to West Ham. Lewis Gilherme as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and they brought in Guido Rodriguez from Real Betis. Wes Fodering as well on a free transfer. And they've also brought in, I didn't know this, but they've also brought in Todibo on loan. I didn't realise that was a done deal. And with minimal departures, Flynn Downs off to Southampton, as you know, Said Benrahma off to Lyon, Kerrer off to Monaco, and of course Calvin Phillips going back to Man City, who then went to Ipswich. They have strengthened massively. They've got the depth. There is a possible European push here, but the only thing that prevents me, again, is the teams above. It's not that West Ham are bad. It's not that West Ham haven't done well in the transfer window. It's just that the other 8 teams who are above them are fucking good. And yes, I'm including Chelsea in that, because despite having fucking 4 different teams, they've got enough quality to probably build some teams to win games by a big amount. It's really difficult to drop them any further. There was a moment where I had West Ham 8th, Chelsea 9th, but it's difficult because obviously Man City, their quality, Arsenal are just ready to go, and they've also added Calafiori. Liverpool just proven at this level with all their players, minimal expenditure, but they've just proven. Spurs, we've obviously just gone through them. They have added quality, and their manager is very good. Manchester United, bias in there, but I don't think they're going to finish as low as 9th, like I put West Ham. Newcastle as well, they're having players coming back. And then 7th, I think I put Villa. They're going to have the drop-off, but not a massive drop-off, like a Newcastle sort of drop-off, like last year. And then Chelsea, they've got too much quality to not, finish in the top half. So West Ham, unfortunately, are 9th, and it's not because they've done bad with their signings. It's not because they're a bad team. It's just because other teams above them are better, and it's just unlucky for West Ham to be put 9th. But I think 9th is a good finish, and if other teams fall apart, West Ham could kick on. West Ham could kick on and get better. I don't know. It was difficult to place West Ham, but because of the other teams above them, I feel like it's the right place to put West Ham in 9th place. Up next then, and up finally, Wolves. Sorry this has been such a long stream. This is about double the length for my fucking Premier League predictions last year. I don't think I went in this in depth. I've thought about it a bit more this year and tried to get as accurate as I can. The club was originally founded in 1877 and became known as Wolverhampton Wanderers in 1879. They have been crowned champions 3 times and have won the domestic cup on 4 occasions. Wolverhampton Wanderers were one of the 12 founders of the Football League in 1888, and the club reached the UEFA Europa League final in 1972, and they became the first club to win England's top 4 divisional titles in 1988. So they've won every single divisional title. The first team to do that. Unfortunately, not going to do that this year. For Wolves, it's a difficult one to judge as well. They've had 2 big departures, and they brought in younger players to take those spots. Rodrigo Gomez coming in from Braga, Pedro Lima coming in from Brazil, who I don't think he'll probably start, but we'll see, I guess. Tommy Doyle as well. He comes in from Man City. And Jorgen Strand Larsen in on loan, a decent little player on his day. They've also got loans coming back for Gonzalo Guedes, he comes back. Daniel Pedence, he returns. Fabio Silva from Rangers, I don't know if you'd want him back, but he is coming back, unfortunately. Mosquera, Kalajdzic, Chiquinho, and Bola all coming back. Some of those have probably gone out again. Yeah, Bola has gone to Rapid Vienna on a free. Hugo Bueno has gone to Feyenoord on loan. But the big departures, like we know, Pedro Neto to Chelsea, Max Kilman to West Ham. They will hurt. but I don't think they'll hurt as much as people are thinking they will hurt. Gary Neal is a good coach. He's proven it now with Wolves. He proved it with Bournemouth as well. I think did he get relegated with them, or was it Scott Parker who got relegated with him? He proved to do well with Bournemouth. He did well with Wolves last year, steering them to safety, and I think he'll do it again. They're going to fall a little bit. I put them to fall a little bit. I think they finished 12th last year or 13th. I put them 14th, obviously the final position on the grid that I could actually physically put a team. They haven't really filled the holes of Kilman, or that sounds really weird, but filled the holes of Kilman or Neto in their respective positions. But they have the money to, and there's still plenty of the window to go. I don't think they're going to get relegated, but it isn't going to be a cushy season, comfy season for Wolves. 14th place. So, ladies and gentlemen, that ends the predictions. It's been an hour and 15. I do fucking go on, don't I? I do talk a lot, and I apologise for that if I bored you to fucking sleep. But I hope you have enjoyed these Premier League predictions. Leave your predictions wherever, Twitch chat, YouTube comments, wherever you want to leave them. As well, if you want to like call me out, say I'm wrong, like, oh, Man City aren't going to win the league, Arsenal are this year, they look better, they look stronger, City have lost players. That's fine as well. I will take any constructive criticism, and I probably am going to be wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. But to qualify for, not qualify, but to go over my I don't know what I'm trying to say. Point is, I'm going to go over my predictions table one last time, and then we're going to leave it there. So 20th place, Southampton. 19th place, Nottingham Forest. 18th place, Leicester. That will be the relegation spots. 17th, Everton. 16th, Ipswich. I'm on that fucking hype train. 15th, Fulham. 14th, Wolves. 13th, Brentford. 12th, Brighton. 11th, Bournemouth. As we head into the top half now, 10th will be Palace. 9th will be West Ham. Chelsea will be 8th. Villa will be 7th. Newcastle will be 6th. Manchester United will be 5th. As much as it pains me to not put them in a top 4 spot, they're not going to get top 4 just yet. Spurs will finish 4th. Liverpool will be 3rd. Arsenal will come 2nd. And for the 5th year in a row, Pep will guide Manchester City in possibly his final season to a 5th straight Premier League. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are my predictions. If you don't get all of it, the predictions will be put in the description as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the Premier League this weekend. And hopefully your teams will finish where you want them to finish. Take care and peace.